How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Touchdown Alabama's YouTube channel. Today, we got a breaking recruiting news update as the Crimson Tide just landed a verbal commitment from 2026 five-star defensive back Jorden Edmonds out of Marietta, Georgia. He becomes the Crimson Tide's fourth 2026 commit. Before we dive deeper into Edmonds, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Subscribers, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we drop content on our YouTube channel. When you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, you get an opportunity to stay updated on everything Alabama football and everything Alabama football recruiting. But like I said earlier, we're going to talk about Jorden Edmonds on today, five-star defensive back, choosing the Crimson Tide over programs like Tennessee, Georgia, and several others. He was set to announce a commitment on February 19th, and the Crimson Tide were one of his original finalists, but he pulled off of that decision and looked as if he did so because his recruitment started to basically hit another level once he announced he was committing on February 19th. We saw programs like Ohio State, LSU, Florida State, just different schools jump in on Edmonds once he had a great showing at the Under Armour Atlanta camp that we were in attendance for. He just continued to trend upwards as one of the top defensive back prospects in the 2026 class. He actually was rated as a four-star defensive back when he was set to announce that commitment on February 19th. But if you take a look at Jorden Edmonds' stock right now in terms of his star rating and ranking on most recruiting sites, you're going to see that it has made a major jump over the last several weeks. He's now a five-star defensive back on several recruiting sites. One even considers him the number one cornerback in the country. So he has made a meteoric rise in terms of being a recruit over the last several weeks. So the Crimson Tide picking up a verbal commitment from him today was huge for so many different reasons. Of course, you see the Crimson Tide are putting an emphasis on recruiting in the South. Now they have 4 commits from the South, 3 guys from Georgia, another guy from Alabama. So the Crimson Tide are putting an emphasis on recruiting down South because South generates a lot of great football players and a lot of great athletes in general. But when you take a look at Edmonds, you're looking at a 6'3", about 180-pound defensive back, long, rangy guy. With that length, you already know he's always going to catch the eyes of college football coaches and evaluators because that is what they are looking at when it comes to today's era of college football. When it comes to that cornerback position, you want those long guys at the cornerback position who's able to go stride to stride with wide receivers. Guys who are able to use their length when they are in coverage. They're able to recover really well because they have that length. So Edmonds is one of those guys who checks those boxes as well. He's also is a guy who plays wide receiver for Sprayberry High School. You're going to see him on the offensive side of football, and when he lines up at wide receiver, you automatically notice his length. And you see him line up at receiver, I think that's when his length is probably the most visible on his film. But when he's running routes and making plays on the offensive side of football, you see those ball skills, and those ball skills translate over to the defensive side of football because you all know who guys who play wide receiver, I feel like they just have a better feel for where a ball is going and how a wide receiver is going to act in terms of him trying to catch the football. So typically those guys have a better opportunity and a better understanding and just a better feel for when to basically break up passes, basically use their hands to break the ball away from wide receivers. And I think Jorden Edmonds does that at a really, really high level. So when you take those ball skills, you take the length that he has, I think that is why so many programs across the country are wanting a guy like Jorden Edmonds, but the Crimson Tide were able to pick up a verbal commitment from him on today. I recently had an opportunity to talk with his dad, Chris Edmonds, who played in the NFL for a couple of seasons, went to West Virginia to play football as a linebacker. So Jorden is a guy who has a football background, a football pedigree in terms of his family. But talking about Alabama, Chris Edmonds told me that he felt that the Crimson Tide's coaching staff have painted the picture that they are going to put an emphasis on developing players, not just putting out players out there because they are 5 stars and some of the top recruits in the country. He feels that their coaching staff has shown their family and basically proved to their family that they are going to put an emphasis on developing Jorden on and off the field so he can reach his full potential. And also he's going to be, as always, when you talk about it on football, he's going to be able to compete against the best day in and day out. So the Crimson Tide have picked up a verbal commitment from one of the top defensive backs in the country. Like I said, easily that length, those ball skills, that athleticism that he brings to the table, you definitely can see why he has had this meteoric rise as a 5-star defensive back prospect. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching on our YouTube channel. I am Justin Smith, the Director of Recruiting and Managing Editor here at Touchdown Alabama. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button before you leave, hit the notification bell as well so you can be notified when we drop content on our YouTube channel.